Well, all right, it is the next day, and I've come up to kind of analyze this piece a little bit. So the first thing I did is I turned it upside down. The advantage of having your image on a computer is that you can turn the same image upside down. Now, I turn my drawings upside down when I'm life drawing, but it's harder to compare your drawing to the model. So when I turn it upside down, I'm just kind of looking for anything that stands out as unusual or weird. So when I'm working with the live model, I do tend to use a mirror. And the mirror I will use to compare. I try to get my drawing and the model in the same view as the mirror, and then I can look at the images back and forth. Then I can look and see if there's something that's a little bit off, where I can kind of compare back and forth directly. That's very handy. But this method of going upside down, so having, like I said, having the image on your computer, you can make it upside down. So I'm going to detach my phone here and show you guys on the computer what I've done. So there's a picture of Kazia upside down, and there's the one right side up. Turn them to black and white, and there's the one in color. So I actually have all three of them. You can see this is what I was talking about yesterday. There's that warm light hitting the back of her, which I'm still trying to decide what to do. I think I like it. I don't think I have a problem with the light in a drawing. I might work with it just a little bit today. But this is the image right here I was comparing. So I was comparing this image to the drawing image in the mirror. So I wasn't clear on that. I apologize. So I compared those two images in the mirror just like I would a live model. The reason for turning them upside down is to your brain they become more objective. The shapes are more objective and less subjective. So instead of that maybe being a nose, your brain will see it as a shape. And so when you're using that mirror and you can see both of these upside down images, you're just looking to see what the differences are. So today, for example, when I was looking at this, I think, and I just went around the face. I just analyzed, looking back and forth, drawing to image. I was just looking at shapes, values, and really form, general form. So I started right down here, and the first thing I noticed that I had done yesterday is I brought this line up too fast. So looking at Kazia's cheek, it drops down longer. So I have to change that just a little bit. That's a super easy fix too. Kind of see that masseter muscle right there. Catches just a little bit of light. So I don't want that to be too blended. She has a strong jaw there. See, and from there I worked my way around. And this shape here on her chin actually looked pretty good. Little things like this light catching the upper part of her lip, I felt could have been maybe describing the form just a little bit better. So again, there is a good, I'm going to use this, I think that's that HB. So that's a good place to use that harder. Really don't want to put much charcoal down. Just trying to get that little bit of light to describe that upper lip a little bit better. But that was very minor. I have to come back and work on that just a little bit. I want to keep kind of going around the face. The next thing I saw, I think this is something we do a lot. I do a lot still. So I drew this wing of the nose as the wing of the nose. So again, turning that upside down, that is no longer the wing of the nose. It's just this shape, just this interesting shape. So as I drew that yesterday, I drew around that, kind of defining that shape of the nose against this part of the upper lip. But as I looked at that upside down image, I was amazed at how the form pulled together right there, to the point where I can't even really see where one form begins and the other one ends. That's a great thing to look for. That's that idea of pulling your form together and not allowing them to be broken up by too many little value changes. Then it caught a little bit more right here, and just this little change of form from the cheek to the upper lip. It caught just a little more dark right there. Gotta be very careful not to make that too dark. And you could even use a little bit of white chalk. If you can't quite get that line off, just draw it together a little bit with chalk. And I thought the end of the nose looked pretty good. The eye looked good. Again, I noticed this was very subtle, but I think it's also very important. It was the way the lights work on that upper eye. I was kind of surprised to see how much more dark was kind of down in this area. And I'm looking, I'm looking up at the image here as I'm working this. But I'm remembering what I saw too, what caught my eye in that mirror. And right here, these two forms really pull together. They almost do completely pull together. And I can see that is maybe just a little lighter than I have it. It's catching just a tiny bit more light. Don't want any edges in there. It's the way that light travels right from that part of the eyelid, travels that direction, kind of cuts through that form and back this way into that fullness right there underneath the eyebrow. Kind of draw through that eyebrow just a little bit. It's very thin back there. Just barely touching the paper. All right, that looks pretty good. And I think the other part of the eye was just down below. I was noticing that this form pulls down just a little bit more, and that's to separate this form, that little fullness that comes off the nose, with that cheek form. But again, I'd rather downplay that than maybe go too heavy-handed with that. That would ruin her youthfulness if I went too dark with those. So we'll just keep that really subtle. That's pretty much it. See, this one I think is the darkest one here with Kazia. Just a little bit right through there. I saw this here too. This could actually come down a little further. Again, that's one of those things you might want to be very careful. If she were older, I think you could push that in a little bit darker. I'm going to be very careful with that too. You guys are probably ready to stand on your heads so you can see this, right? Now let me, I'll flip it right side back up, and then we'll work on it that way a little bit. All right, there we are, right side up. And that's a good combination to upside down, right side up. And having noticed these little things in the mirror, I don't know. Working upside down too long can kind of throw you off. So I'd maybe just encourage you to just kind of go back and forth. That actually pulls up a little bit more. There's a little bit more of a separation. And I think that is also, that needs to come, it comes from behind the eye. It's coming around the eye and forming around the the actual kind of the eyeball. So I'm going to make sure that pulls back. It's right up into those eyelashes. And I love the way that glows in there. She's got lovely kind of luminous, she has lovely luminous skin. And I love the way the light's just kind of bouncing around in there. Really adds a lot of life when you can get those little reflective spots. And you know, in that little area in particular. I have to make sure that is not competing with the one on the end of her nose. And it's getting there. I have to be cautious of that, I guess. So keep that form together there. And that feels pretty good. You know, that really wasn't very much. I didn't look, let's see, I guess we might go upside down one more time. I'd like to maybe, I don't know, maybe just pull that light forward just a little bit on the end of her nose. If you guys have ever had the privilege of doing a cast drawing, this is a little bit like a cast drawing, and that's what you do with them is you just work. You know, it can be hundreds of hours on a cast drawing to get all the little nuances of that plaster right, and you just keep working them. So that's a very classical approach to art training, and that's just to train your eye to see all these little, I mean, you know, first of all, in the cast drawing, you're trying to get the overall shapes. There's more to it, but when you get down to the, you know, when you're getting close to the end of the cast drawing, that's what you're looking for, and you're putting in these minute little variations, and it can just go on for hours and weeks. Kind of interesting, but through that repetition and I guess intensity, you're really training your brain to pay attention to these little things. And the cast doesn't, it's like a still life. The cast doesn't move and it's there for you. The lighting is controlled. So I'm also thinking, I've got a beautiful cast. I would love to get some more of them here in the studio, but I do have one lovely cast, and I've contemplated making that a video. It's showing you how you would approach a cast drawing. And you can get them online now, or they're pretty, well, I was going to say they're pretty affordable. They're not. The good ones are not affordable, but they're worth it. And they look really cool in your studio, even if you don't end up using them. If you don't draw from them, they look awesome in your studio on the wall. It's been years since I've done any cast drawings, but this is definitely feeling like it. I think that, boy, that's subtle. Now that might be an area, might go upside down again. Maybe, I don't know. Just that, oh my gosh, that form is so subtle. We can go a little lighter right there. So again, I'm in danger of competing again. I keep putting light in there. I could knock those down. You know, I've got that stump. Maybe I'll do that. I'm feeling they are all a little too similar now. So let's just pull, I'll just spread the light just a little bit. And that will knock down the brightness of those highlights so as not to compete with that. Still like to maybe see that a little brighter. that, there's a plane right there on the front of the forehead, but it also has a slight roundness to it. So we just want that plane to feel like it's just slowly disappearing and then wrapping around that last little edge. Oops, that I'm trying to keep that one for the chalk. Trying to keep that a little bit clean. Want to soften that just a little bit more. Still loving that eyelash. I'm really glad I did that yesterday. With this stump and those tortillons, I'm kind of just redepositing little tiny bits of charcoal and chalk. Minuscule amounts. Well, I think, let's see, before I sign out, let's look at that hair and that light. Okay, I think that's going to do it for now, or I think that's going to do it for the face. That feels better. That line, I think that really, that defined the jaw much better, because that's actually her ear right there. And so I got to have a feeling of that jaw coming and then coming up, so that line and then up there, where before it was just too round. And that feels good down there. I think this is all good. So yeah, I just have to decide, do I like that reflected light in there? A lot of different things I could do. I really do like the idea it's not defined. I don't want to define it back there. I like just the way I put it in kind of rough. But we could spend a few minutes on that. Well, I think that is it, everyone. I think I've spent enough time on this. I think I did probably spend a little more time than I was originally thinking, but I'm pretty happy overall with the entire piece. I feel like I captured Kazia's beautiful face, and you guys are going to be seeing more of her. So I'm going to catch her while she's still available to model. She's going to be moving to Europe. She's thinking next fall. So I want to work with her as much as I possibly can. And she'll be doing some figure modeling for us and some more portraits. So, all right, well, okay. Somebody come take my pencil away from me. I can't stop. Just keep working on those little things. I'm gonna. All right, as soon as I get this video up, I'm gonna be working on. I mentioned I'll do a figure, a little charcoal figure right after this, but also for VIP, I've got a hand video that I wanted to put out, a little bit about hands and anatomy. And that was supposed to be in April. And I just kind of ran out of time in April. So I'm going to put that up here very, very soon for you guys. So be watching for that. And let me know if you have any questions about this little portrait. And I'll actually get some photos of this and I'm going to put it up on List and Art for sale. All right, thanks you everyone. Till next time.